Good morning again, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for Storytime with Rob. I am excited to be with you this morning. I've been thinking since this whole kind of COVID thing is starting to ease a little bit, people are starting to get back to work and things are opening up again. I thought to myself, what direction am I heading? And so that is the theme of my story time for today, which is, what direction are you heading? The following story was told to me by my institute teacher, George Durrant, when I was in college. He was one of the greatest teachers that I ever had, and it went something like this. Two newly beginning but lucky deer hunters had shot a big buck on their first hunt together. They were dragging the deer back to camp when an experienced hunter, coming up the trail, observed that they were dragging the deer by its hind legs. He helpfully suggested, and I quote, "If you fellers will pull that deer by its horns, you'll be dragging it with the grain of the hair, and it will pull much easier that way." And then he went on his way. Taking his advice, the hunters took hold of the horns and began dragging the deer for another hour or so. Finally, one of them said to the other, "You know, he was right. It does drag much easier this way." "Yes," replied the other, "but we're getting farther and farther from camp." Do we sometimes feel that way? We often take the easier path. Well, because it's easier. However, we find that we're actually getting farther and farther away from our own goals. Well, that's because, quite honestly, goals are hard. They're not always easy to obtain. That's why they're called goals. Brian Tracy, who is an international motivational speaker, wrote the following in his book entitled Flight Plan: The Real Secret of Success. And I quote from him in his book. He explains that life is like an airplane journey. From the time you take off, you will be off course 99% of the time. All airplanes are off course 99% of the time. The purpose and the role of the pilot and the avionics is to continually bring the plane back on course so that it arrives on schedule at its destination. He later said, "In life, you are the pilot of your own craft. To reach your destination of health, happiness, and prosperity, and a good life, you must do as the pilot does. You must first of all determine your destination. This requires clear, specific goals written down with plans to accomplish each of them every day. Second, you must take off toward your destination with no guarantee of success." In other words, sometimes you got to step into the dark a little bit. You must be willing to move out of your comfort zones and take risks continually, even though you know that most of them will not succeed, at least at the beginning. The third part, and the real secret of success, is that you must be prepared to make continual course corrections. Just as an aircraft faces headwinds, downdrafts, storm fronts, wind shear, lightning, and unexpected turbulence, you will experience the same in the pursuit of any worthwhile goal. The key to success, he said, is for you to keep your mind fixed clearly on the goal. Be flexible about the way of achievement. Be open to new inputs and ideas. Learn from every experience along the way, and look for the good in every setback or difficulty that you may have. Most of all, you must resolve in advance that you will never, ever give up. Your ability to persist in the face of all adversity in the direction of your goal is what will ultimately guarantee your success. You make your own luck through your own hard work and determination. Decide upon your destination. Take off and be open to the necessity to making continual course corrections until you reach your destination. End quote. It is time to dust off those goals, everyone. Tighten up your boots, get going. Reach higher, step outside your comfort zones, or even your house for that matter. Go for it. Make course corrections along the way, and go and accomplish great and wonderful things. Thank you again for joining me. Until tomorrow, be safe.